This story is set in a time of famine. One day, a traveler came into the village carrying nothing more than a pot and a stone. The traveler filled the pot with water, dropped a large stone in it, and placed it over a fire in the village square. The villager became curious and asked the traveler what he was doing. The traveler answered, "I am making stone soup, which tastes wonderful. I thought it would taste even better if it had a carrot." The villager went home and returned with a carrot, which was added to the pot. Another villager passed by and asked what the traveler was doing, and again the traveler explained that he was making stone soup. It tastes amazing, but it would be even more delicious if it had an onion. The villager went home and soon returned with an onion, which was added to the pot. More and more villagers came to the village square just to see what was going on, and each added something to the pot: herbs, meat, and potatoes. Finally, the call went out to the whole village. The stone soup is ready. I would like to share with you all an experience that I've had with my church in hosting our food and clothing community drive for the community of San Bernardino. Within this drive, there are 3 components that I'd like to discuss with you all about, and that is 1, the planning process, 2, the distribution process, and 3, engagement. So first, let's begin with our planning process. So in the planning process, there are 3 things I'd like to discuss with you all about, and that is 1, the gathering of resources, 2, organization, and 3, marketing. Okay, so for the gathering of resources, there was a great turnout in the amount of clothes and food that we had gathered, and we had used it all for donations, and it was pretty great. We had large amounts of food and clothing. And so moving on to organization, my team and I, my church and I, we were able to gather our tasks and assignments quite well. We all had different tasks, and as for me, I had multiple tasks, and 2 of these tasks had included for me to be in charge of the clothing distribution as well as creating flyers. And speaking of flyers, let's move on to marketing. Okay, so for marketing, I had used this great website, this amazing website called Canva. What's so great about Canva is that they had offered me great and professional templates and designs for me to use at no extra cost. I mean, who doesn't love free stuff, right? Anyways, if I were to rate this entire planning process, I would rate it to be a 5 out of 5, no doubt about it. Okay, so now we're moving on to the distribution process. In this process, we had distributed food, clothing, hygiene products, and spiritual literature. Okay, so for the food. The food was amazing. The moms of our church, they were the ones cooking up fried rice, some rotisserie chicken, and salad, and I had packed it all up into go boxes. As for the dads of our church, they were the ones working the grill, and they had cooked up some yummy hot dogs. And what's so great about these foods is that they were easy to make, quick and easy to make, and quite easy to distribute as well. Okay, so now we're moving on to the clothes and hygiene products. There was a great amount of clothing and hygiene products. However, it wasn't until the last hour that we had realized that there wasn't enough. And so we had to ask our crew members to go out to a local nearby store and buy some extra clothes and also extra hygiene products as well. Okay, so now moving on to spiritual literature. Spiritual literature, we would hand out scripture-based pamphlets, and within these pamphlets you would find words of encouragement from the Bible as well as the message of the gospel. If I were to give a rating to this entire distribution process, I would rate it to be a 4.5 stars out of 5, just because we had that small mishap earlier on in that last hour when we didn't have enough resources to donate and distribute. Okay, so last but not least, we have engagement. So within this process, we had team communication as well as the people that we were serving during the drive. Okay, so for team communication, my team and I, my church and I, we were communicating to each other the entire time, and we were cooperating. We were there for one another to help each other in our assigned tasks, and we were being really cooperative. And as for the people that were serving during the drive, it was so great to see so many familiar faces that we were serving or marketing to prior to the drive, see them again. And it was also really great to see new and familiar faces of people from our community of San Bernardino coming to our church to take part in this drive. So if I were to rate this entire engagement process, I would rate it to be a 5 out of 5. If I were to give an overall rating to this entire community drive experience, I would rate it to be a 10 out of 10. And this goes for the planning, distribution, and engagement process. From this experience, I've learned the importance of cooperation. I encourage and invite you all to look within your community and see where you can add your own vegetables to the pot. No matter how big or small you feel the gesture to help may seem to be, whether it's to call and check up on a loved one or buying groceries for someone who are most vulnerable during this time, any contribution would help. It would make a positive difference. Working together as a community and being there for one another to bring bits of ingredients and vegetables to the stone bowl soup, we can accomplish great things, big things. What was once a bowl of bland stone soup has changed to be something far more, and we can do the same within our community for the better, and all to provide service, love, and care to our brothers and sisters. Let's bring the story of stone bowl soup to life.